is open now. You can present your questions to us directly on the chat box. You can type it out here. And as you present the questions, I will, if it is for me, I will take it. And of course, if it is for for my fellow panelists, I'll be happy to present it to them. So you can either raise your hand, you can type it out in the chat box. You can also use the activity session. Looking forward to your questions. We have the first question of the evening for Rohit sir by Swati Bakshi. Rohit sir, she states, Rohit sir, the three mantras you mentioned and the VUCA system sounded amazing. Her question is, can individual subject teachers do this in his or her individual classroom even when other subjects are being taught in the traditional way? And also, can the entire syllabus, the way it is now in schools, with all the focus on exam and marks, be taught in this amazing way?
Yeah, thanks, Fatima. There are multiple parts to this question. First of all, thanks to say that it's quite amazing to get it from an educationist will kind of reinforce what we are doing. Number one. Number two, can individual classrooms can this be taught by teachers? Yes, actually, it is very, very simple. Working in technology, right? We have kind of abstracted something very complex into something that even small kids can understand. The mantras are something that once you learn, it will hang on with you for a long, long time. In fact, you don't even have to attempt. In fact, it will kind of become viral in your classrooms where kids are learning on their own. We have seen kids walking in corridors, and if somebody says, uh, how is the taste of that bubble gum? So the kids, if they don't want to answer, they'll say, no, I don't want to answer. Use the mantras and find out how the bubble gum tastes. So it is like that. It will kind of become very viral. They'll come up with their own answers. Now the thing is, right? Everything can be self-learned using this methodology. That is point number one. Point number two, when they're learning in this methodology, right? They will break away from this one question, one answer mentality. They will come up with thousands of answers which are all correct in various different perspectives. And now it is up to the teacher to direct it back into saying, hey, this is the correct answer for from the examination point of view. Okay, that is something that one may have to do. In our case, the way we are using it is this. See, when we were in school, right, we had a lot of common sense, and if something is taught, we could map it to our common sense. So, say for example, guava tree, right? I take a stone and I hit it, and it doesn't work. Then I try something else, and on and on. Today, kids don't have any common sense, and so many of the concepts that we talk about, they don't have anything to map onto. So that is one big challenge that we are bridging. Two parts. Anything can be self-learned. That is fine. The other challenging part is, can you enable a doing activity, something to do that is relevant to day-to-day life or relevant to their careers into the same syllabus? We have found it to be very, very tricky. For example, subject-verb agreement is there. It's not useful in day-to-day life. Algebra, there are some things that you can make it useful in day-to-day life, but there are many, many concepts that are just not useful. Fraction division. Fraction division is okay. Decimal division. Oh, absurd. Light travels in a straight line. So there are many light travels in straight line. Actually, we found it was quite difficult. We were able to make an activity so that they figure that concept out. But many things you can't do. There's nothing doing. It's all in thinking. There it kind of breaks down. I think about 60-70% of the schools, this one, right, from 5th, 6th, and 7th, can be mapped to this doing and self-learning. The doing part, 70%, 100% for self-learning. Higher classes, we are very fortunate because we get into understanding careers and doing something about careers that are all mind. When you have to do something, you have to use your mind. And then we are able to, we are kind of more successful. You can come more closer to 100% of your syllabus, you can cover. What we do is, we give only 10 assignments per year, so that there's one assignment which is on this methodology. And we spread these assignments across different topics, across different languages and math and science, so that we kind of give them a complete coverage. Our focus is not on syllabus, it is on self-learning, doing and self-learning and getting habituated to that. Our focus is really on making kids life-ready, career-ready and future. Syllabus happens to be a benefit that happens along the way.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks so
we
much.
We have the next question for the Ashok Pandey, asked by Pratibha Public School, Bagbara. So the question goes like, how problem solving skills with critical thinking give some more how problem solving skills can go with critical thinking skills? Can you give some more examples?
Thank you, Namrata. I think I have replied to that question in the chat box, but I will just try and repeat it.
Yes, I think
I think
everybody would like to hear that from you.
yes, yes, I'm coming on that. The whole thing is, all your 3 days of discussion is only talking about new pedagogy, the new way in which we have to engage the children, right? And what are those new ways? The only way that we have followed most of the time, I'm not talking of exceptions, I'm not talking of experiments, I'm not talking of those innovations which are taking place every day in the classroom, but in general, we give the information directly. So we become the disseminator of information and children become the consumer. What I am trying to suggest here, and most of our panelists have talked about, is that can we present the same thing to the children as a problem? So if we are discussing balanced diet in the classroom, so instead of saying what are the vitamins and what are the minerals and vitamin A deficiency will cause this, can we tell them, find out in your area or district or state how many children are suffering from malnutrition? And what are the causes of malnutrition? And how can we remedy it? That is where the problem solving and critical thinking lies. Okay, so we have to change the whole narrative. So we have to bring in data, we have to bring in research, and we have to put everything in terms of a problem. And this is the one thing. The second thing, critical thinking we can bring in is that even in English passages, so we give them a passage and tell them to peel it off, find out the central message, find out the messages around it, find out what has touched you the most, find out what part you agree and you don't agree with which part. That will bring in that critical thinking and discussion and learning from each other. So these are some of the examples I can give, but I think teachers are even more innovative than I am. And once you embrace this new pedagogy, you will come out with more fascinating examples to do in the classroom.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that was very well answered. And yes, those of you who missed out on it earlier, I'm sure all of you are very excited and very, amazed by the response. We have another question we have the question for Manish Giri. What adequate policy or steps the school should take to provide input on technology?
Thank you. So first of all, as a school, we should be thinking long term, and we should be thinking of standardizing stuff. So whenever we roll out any tech or anything, or whenever we are in the planning stage, we have to think about standardizing it across for all students. As Vertel, I think our role has been to be a tech implementer for schools and come in as someone who can do a health check as to how they are progressing in their digital transformation journey. So to get an input from our end, I would suggest that of course I can drop in my email address and people can reach out with their questions. If you want us to do a health check on your school as to how you are progressing, or what things can you sort of start with, or what things can you change or standardize, or how can you bring in inputs that would engage your students and your teachers, because obviously teachers, as I said, are the enablers of whatever is done in the school. So they have to be on board with everything, and they have to be trained well on those things as well. So yeah, that is something that we can certainly help you with, doing a health check analysis of how your school is progressing on that journey.
Thank you, sir. I think your support will definitely be quite appreciated by a lot of our participants today.
Sure.
We have another question for Rohith KN. The question goes like, should unconventional education be critical of everything that has been followed till yesterday?
Thanks so much for asking this. This kind of question kind of brings a smile on my face. The reason is this: we actually looked at what is education from a point of view of a single-celled organism, from a point of view of a plant, from point of view of a reptile which is cold-blooded. How does it happen in mammals? How is it in a hunter-gatherer society? What is education in an agriculture society, industrial societies, and even the tech age? And if you look at everything, what we are having, the current education system that we are having, that is the unconventional one. That doesn't exist anywhere else. And that is also completely broken. So this, I'll just take a moment of a detour. So this current school system kind of started during the Industrial Revolution, when a lot of factories were put up in 1800s in the Western world. They didn't have any factories. They put up a lot of factories, but there were no workers coming to the factories. So they set up a new factory to create workers for these factories. This factory that creates the workers is called as a school system. Now the factory system is completely gone. We want thinkers, we want doers, we want independent people who can add value, not people who listen to orders and be disciplined. So what I would like to say is the current educational system that we have, that is the unconventional one. So what we are talking about is not the unconventional one. That is a natural one that we have set up. We have tried to inculcate the natural method of learning into this current unconventional system. Now, is it critical for everything? It's mandatory. So the thing is, 20 years, right? I don't know if you are part of any corporate world. I don't know if I could use this language. The students who come out of your graduate schools are idiots. They can't think. Their common sense is completely broken. It takes about 3 years for them to get their common sense back. We also see that the longer they are educated, the common sense is worse. They can't think at all. So it is not only critical, it is mandatory. What we have also done is, fortunately or unfortunately, when we looked at it, the NEP, the preamble of the NEP, whatever they want, self-learning, critical thinking, multidisciplinary, hands-on, everything has been covered into what we have done so far. And we have done it in a way so that the current school system doesn't have to change anything, but they can incorporate the essence of NEP, incorporate essence of making kids life ready, career ready, and future ready.
Namrata, Namrata,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
now allow me to play your role for a minute. So there is a question for Namrata Sinha. Implementation of NEP in CBSE curriculum only in papers, and those leaders taking pain to implement become the odd men out from this scenario. Solution for this. Now Namrata will answer this question.
Thank you, sir. That is very, very kind and generous of you. And I actually can show you the solution. Just look at the participant list on your screen. Look at the speaker list on your screen, and you know that we are the solution. If educators are not the solution for this, then who are? What stops us from getting motivated by our fellow peers? What stops us from learning from each other? I mean, today all of us have joined us as learners, right? So I think we ourselves can help each other out. And I must say, NEP, from what I understand, is just a summary of all our visions, ideas, hopes, dream, and passion for the education sector, which we have been trying to incorporate in our own little spaces from time and again. So if nothing has stopped us from doing that now, I'm sure just because it's formalized and it's presented on a nice, PDF document with all the appendix and summary bullet points attached, why stop now? It is Mr. Pandey has also said that yes, there were some exceptions, who have been, like, let's say, whether it's in the form of experimentation or whether it's about, each teacher trying to make a difference in the classroom to that one particular child, or taking, that extra effort to sit, after the class to answer that particular child's queries in a language that they understand. I don't think that we need a paper document to actually enforce what we want to do. We all here are visionaries. So yes, I think all of us can motivate each other, learn from each other. And yes, it may take some time for us to implement as a whole, but I think we all are taking individual efforts to it. I have been privileged to work with schools who have actually taken, let's say, the whole profiling of the teachers, understanding their learning styles. And it's amazing to see that, not only are the teachers interested in their counseling, learning to know how they can be, much more informed, much more progressive, much more, catered to the vision that they have. They sit when the child and parent counseling is happening, and they ask the questions, okay, what my observation is that during the class this child has done this or not done this, and I think this child has a potential is this, what do you have? It's actually, I have come across some amazing teachers as a student and as a counselor as well. So I think we need to learn from each other, motivate each other, keep ourselves on on the right track. I'm sure we are doing something right. It may take some time, but patience is something I think that all of us have developed or have been forced to develop over the years. I'm sure we'll get to the results very soon. Thank you.
Can I also add to it?
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, I would like to add to it. Thanks, Namrata. So number one, as I was talking about, self-learning is one of the key focus areas in the preamble of NEP. Unfortunately, I saw some of the comments that the vision is good, but there is no implementation methodology right now. So in this case, you could reach out to us if you are a teacher, introduce us to the management. So we will be the odd man out. You as a teacher don't have to be the odd man out. We'll take the brunt. We have done this for long, and we can implement it. We can show you how exactly everything in the preamble matches to what we are trying to do. Because what we are doing is lined up to the existing curriculum, existing syllabus, existing way of doing. You don't seem to be the odd man out if we follow the approach that we are doing at Future Reekrit. That's what I would like to say. Thanks so much. I mean, it's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have the next question for Mr. Ashok Pandey. The question goes like, how do we teach holistic education in the current times?
Yeah, thank you, Namrata. Just to add to what you and Rohith have said, that if you do something pioneering or path breaking, you become an odd man out. I don't think that's wholly true. And I will just recite what Mazroo Sultanpuri said. मैं अकेला ही चला था, जानिबे मंजिल मगर, लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. You see, so I don't think we have any reason to be pessimistic about it. There is one more question for me, and I will combine both of them very briefly. Of course, holistic education, we have to understand, we have to, educate the whole child. So we have to understand the child. I borrowed this word from the banks. They profess know your customer, So we have said KYC same, but it means know your child. So this whole child education is very important, and Rohith and Manish, you, the brain wonder, everybody is talking about that. So what is holistic education? Education of your cognition, your affective domain, your psychomotor, making you emotionally, socially strong. You should be able to take decision for yourself. You should know what is right, what is wrong. So this is one aspect. The second aspect is that the character building should be at the center of whole education. You see, so now everybody recognizes in the word that high percentile is not going to take you too far. What is going to take you too far is that do you have capability to make a very, very high power, incredible contribution to the society? Can you drive projects? Can you take initiatives? Can you define a problem? Can you take, few people like future influence and future leaders and sort out a problem? I think that is the key to whole child education. And the next question is about SDG. I think this question is directed to me because perhaps Swati knows something about the work that we have done about SDG. I think why do we have to wait for the policy makers to frame a curriculum for us? 5 years ago, when we started SDG, nobody knew about it. And I was not afraid of I'll be odd man out. You see, so we studied it, we integrated into the curriculum, we became the pioneers, we took it outside our campus, we visited 100 schools, we influenced more than 10,000 students, we partnered with 10 international organizations, and we just did it. And now people are not questioning us, you see. But for Swati's, let me tell you, Swati, the NEP talks about SDG. NEP in the very first page has mentioned SDG, and later on it talks about developing global citizenship. So it has come in NEP, and now I'm sure it will become an integral to the curriculum also. So just to summarize the whole thing, don't be afraid of taking new initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very beautifully answered. We have the next question for Manish Giri. Question states, do you believe children need connection rather than worksheet?
I think the it's a great question. Why I say that is because connection and worksheet in today's world, they have sort of combined together, and of course connection is the enabler, but the worksheet today is online. It has to be online. It cannot stay the way it was, right? That's a thing of past. It has to be online. Both of these things have amalgamated, and I see no reason for schools or people or educators to go back to the past ways wherein worksheets were offline. Why? Because the biggest advantage of having something online is that you can extract data out of that, and you don't have to make an effort, which you had to when you were sort of grading, let's say, a worksheet offline. You had to then uh, you know then you had to go on and upload that somewhere or have a manual report card done. Today, if you want to do a report card on an online worksheet, that's doable, in a few clicks. So that, I think, is the larger vision or the larger idea, that we make the connection as the enabler, and we take the worksheet online and everything that we do in schools online, which I think a lot of schools are doing. And of course, everyone should really push it to the brim and not take a step back just because things are now, kind of normalizing back, right? So that's pretty much what I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. The next question is for Rohit KN. The question goes like, how will we change the mindset of people in the education department to allow experimentations?
Yeah. So this is not just education department, right? Whenever we are experimenting in a life, we need to make sure that the risk is very low. So even if you fail in that experiment, you don't get impacted by it. And this is exactly what we have done. So we have taken the self-learning, which is part of NEP, and we have done it in such a way that now, instead of you giving regular assignments, do this assignments that are given by us, the VUCA assignments. And so in that sense, there is nothing that you fail. There's no risk in this experimentation. But after 1 year, you will see that, hey, it is kind of making sense. I'll try to tell you two more points. After we did this, right, every month we were giving challenges, that is the VUCA challenges. Kids said, hey, we love this so much, conduct a summer camp. I said, okay, let's do a summer camp. Then kids said, hey, we want to take a challenge of our own, enough of your challenges. And these boys, they said, we want to make a shoelace that you don't have to tie. I said, okay, come, let's take it as a project, let's do it. They took about 18 months of mind-numbing effort, multiple iterations. I have it right here, all the iterations. And finally, we came up with something that we said, hey, wow, this is so good. And we productized it, and we sold it on Amazon. All these kids made money. That's entrepreneurship. Kids were still not happy. They came up with a newer model that looked even more funkier, jazzier. And the patent has been filed for that shoelace. Now, when all these things are going, I don't think we need to really worry about the education department, more so because the NEP is reducing the clout of the department. So it will kind of become irrelevant. I think the bigger challenge for us is uh, we have to be open. I think the education system is trained us to be very closed and narrow in what we do, that we have to succeed in every attempt. We have to get everything right. Life doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So,
Namrata, may I come in just for a minute?
Sure.
Just to add to what Rohith has said, Rohith has just stopped himself short of saying that please do not take a shelter behind education department. NEP makes it abundantly clear that we want you to experiment, and therefore experiment and innovate. And if somebody questions you on your experiment, flout NEP paper over their face. Okay,
correct.
here it is written in this para. I'm doing it, for God's sake. Don't stop if you can't enable me. Right? That is what Rohith meant, I suppose.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. All right. So there's a question for me, which I'll dictate it for the whole audience. With financial prospects always guiding career choices, how would we motivate more students to consider not this option? Why not? But I mean, I mean, everybody does go into a career to earn a decent source of living. Uh, so, but yes, I don't think that financial aspect is only could be the only motivator behind choosing a career option. I think I know a lot of peacemakers. We have all seen them in the media. There's a Nobel Prize for Peace. I'm sure there's no curriculum which has exhaustively detailed itself right from the standard one about peacemaking, and they have done well, and it has said that if you become a peacemaker, if you become, let's say, a social contributor or a social change maker, you'll get this amazing package which is like an annual like crores in them. But they have done it, and they have been sustaining themselves for it and sustaining a lot of other people also for it. The difference realizes that they have understood their mission, their potential, their skill set early, and excelled in the field that they have chosen. When you excel in something that you have chosen and you are happy to do that, you're motivated to do even better, financial comfort will definitely follow. It is all about whether this person or whether the child has been guided and motivated in a correct way to utilize and let's say capitalize on their skills. Don't run after capitals. I mean, you are your every child is the biggest investment that they can make in themselves, and that is priceless, I must say. If you follow that, it is good to go. I think we all career options have amazing, great financial comfort. It has to be, yes, one of the options, but then it is up to us how we help the child engage via it's like, I mean, there are so many things we've talked, whether it's about the use of technology, whether it's about the use of futuristic understanding the future problems and applying those problem solving skills, whether it's about actually capitalizing on NEP has guided us with. Financial comfort will follow. Let's ensure that the child is happy and motivated to be financially comfortable in the field that they want to be in. So I think with
There,
that, I think, sorry, did I interrupt
yeah,
you?
there was one comment. Could I reply to that? It's by Vatsala Singh. She says that the three mantras are also to be adopted by the educators. Um,
Yes.
yeah, thanks, Vatsala. I mean, yes, absolutely, it has to be taken by the educators. What we realized is not just the educators, by the entire society. It turned out to be true, as in we use these mantras, then we invented multiple ways to think, the thinking models, and it is using those thinking models that the kids invented, that shoelace and couple of other products that we sold on Amazon. Because it was successful, we kind of opened it for adults, where the same thinking model, the same approach is used for adults to incubate companies. And now we have incubated handful of companies, raised funding, and they're creating value. And all these adults know that the same models and same mantras that the students are doing in their fifth, sixth, and seventh standard, they're using in real corporate worlds. Oh yeah, now I'm also, yeah. So yes, not just educators, but all of us need to learn since learning. Thank you so much.
Very correctly said. So I think to summarize the session for today, believe in yourself as an educator, believe in your peers as an educator, believe in the system also, and of course, believe in the child. Don't follow it blindly, keep questioning, and I'm sure all of us are change makers in our own rights. Thank you, everyone, for having such a wonderful session today. It was definitely an honor and privilege to share the panel with such esteemed, established speakers themselves. And I look forward to more further interactions with you as a part of the future school leaders and as a counselor at BrainWonders. Everyone, have a great day, and stay excited. Education is something exciting to be in, for sure.
Thank you, Namrata, and thank you all distinguished panelists. Thank you, Swatiji. Compliments to you. You have lasted and survived for such a long time. So, thank you, Rohith. Nice seeing you, and Manish. God bless you all. Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you, Namrata.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much.